Okay, but let's go to question number 2. This is from SED, who says, my fiance's sibling is trans. I'm scared for our future children I'm scared our future children will think it's a good thing and that it's right. His family accepts this lifestyle unquestionably. I don't want to cut them out of our lives, but I don't know what else to do to protect our family. How can I be obedient to God and still be loving to his sibling and the rest of the family? Well, the first thing I just want to remind you is, Essie, you're struggling with an issue that is you're not actually confronted with the decision yet. So this is a real issue. It's a real concern, and you would definitely be looked at very negatively as being bigoted or transphobic or something like that. That's probably the response, and that hurts, man. It hurts when family cuts you off. I've had this in my own life. I've had family cut me off, and I can only guess at the reasons, right? Like I have all this online teaching that I'm guessing that it rubs some the wrong way. um, I'm guessing that sometimes I've conducted myself less than godly in their presence, and that hasn't helped. But of course, they do that to each other and don't cut each other off. I think it's these Christian values that resulted in that. So I've had that happen, and it's very unpleasant, and it makes me sad. And there's not that much I can do about it at this current point, but except to guard my heart from bitterness, have openness towards them. So this could happen to you, and I hope it doesn't. But this is where Jesus said he came to bring a sword, and not a physical sword of violence, but a sword that divides people. And that is that when they're full commitments to Christ, it causes them to make decisions that others say, I will not tolerate that. You know, like not only are we disagreeing here, but I won't tolerate you if you're going to follow Jesus in that way. And so that this is something we have to be ready for as Christians, and pray for them and bless them and love them still, and hope that the bridge can be rebuilt at some point. So the nice thing though is, you know, these are future children you're worried about, and you're going to gain more discernment as a parent as you just live it out. You know, like when you have your kid and they're 2 months old, you're realizing that, okay, these are the issues at hand, and here's how I'm going to protect my child. When they're 3 years old, here's the issues at hand. Here's how we'll protect the child. I would look for an opportunity to have your kids still involved in their lives, but if you think that they're going to go out of their way to indoctrinate your kids when you're not, you know, there, then I think that would limit the amount of babysitting that could take place. I think that this would limit the environments that you allow your kids to be in without you being present. And so there may be something of a balance there. You're not trying to just, you know, tear apart the family, but you're trying to guard your children. These are tough choices that we have to make. The thing that I'd recommend though for your children is that you don't just protect them from the exposure to like trans ideas and ideologies, but rather, you know, as they grow and as they get to the age where they can start to reason and think things through, which I hear is like around 6, that's when you start to address these ideas very carefully with them, right? Very simply and very carefully. I think a great resource for you on this is an author named Natasha Crane, Crain, Natasha Crane, who's a friend of mine, but this is not why I'm recommending her content. It's because I think she has very good content for parents on how to have worldview discussions on these kinds of issues with their kids. So she has multiple books out, and you can check her stuff out. Yeah, just search, Google Natasha Crane. Check that out. Inoculate your kids. Don't just insulate them from these ideas. Work through those things, and then if you do have to have restrictions with your family, do it in such a way that you're only limiting as much as you have to. You're not going overboard, and they may respond in kind by cutting you out more because of personal offense. But here's the difference. You are not cutting anyone out because you're offended. You're doing it to protect. If they cut you out because they're offended, this is something you can't control. I hope that advice helps you somewhat. I do not pretend I've given you the whole perfect answer for everything you need to know here. I just hope that what I've shared is at least somewhat helpful.